You know, Steve, we were talking about the next film that you're actually in the middle of shooting and how it has a gay character and there's a little bit of a gay storyline. But at the same time, it's more than that, and you wouldn't want it to just be termed a gay film. And I'm sure this is something that all of you guys can relate to, that there is, you know, a certain establishment that is always going to say this is just a gay film, or this is a black film, or it's going to be classified as something like that if you're dealing with outsiders or somebody that appears to be an outsider on screen. Adam, I know you had some thoughts on that.
David.
Or David, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I do have some strong thoughts on that because I don't believe in separate but equal. I don't believe in, you know, we're going to make a gay film for a gay audience and that's who we're going to market it to, because I just think that's so limiting. And I think the thing that was important for me in Dare is to kind of position the gay character alongside one straight and maybe one, you know, whatever you think he is, character, that their journeys were kind of step by step, they're on the same line going together. The gay character's journey will always be different and will always be more difficult because unless you've gone through it, you just can't understand it completely, I think. But at the same time, that experience of adolescence, having all those feelings of shame and pain and desire and anger is something that all of them feel, regardless of their position or circumstances, and they're heightened depending on their circumstances. But I, for one, don't want to make a film in which, you know, we're just going to kind of show you the gay experience, and this is just going to be for a gay audience, because that isn't so limiting. I think that we're going to try and open people's minds a little bit, not that there's anything wrong with that either, by the way. Some of the films that I love the most are kind of gay films, and The Short was a gay film, but I never saw Dare that way. I always saw it as a film about high school kids, one of whom happens to be gay, treating it matter-of-factly and not kind of isolating it out. That's something that was important to me in writing these characters, because I'm gay, but I don't, I want to write about whatever I want to write about. I don't want to only write about, I want to write about gay people when I want to write about gay people. And I want to write about other things as well. I don't want to only talk about being gay. It's a piece of who I am, and it's not the sum, the total sum of my parts. So.
Well, you were talking about how when the press was talking to you before about the film, they were saying this is a gay movie, and you're.
Yeah, we had our publicists. We had we had our press interviews, and then we had the gay interviews, where they kind of was literally they were like the gay interview, It's like, oh, so I sat down with Alan Cumming, and our publicist was like, oh, this is a gay interview. I was like, it certainly is, I mean, so Alan and I just, and we said, he asked Alan and I what we thought about Dare, and as a gay film, and Alan said, well, it's not really a gay film, and the guy was like, horrified, like we had just said a bad word, because as if we were embarrassed by it. And he's like, no, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. It's just that's just not what it is. So if you go in expecting gay all the time, that's not what this film is. And I'm happy to talk. I think I love the gay character. Is my favorite character in the film probably, and his journey is unique and very personal to me. But to just put it like in a bucket and say, we're just going to show this to the gay audiences, that's how we're going to market it. This is a high school movie, and certainly, in Lee's film, which I saw and loved, Precious isn't gay, and she's very much an outsider, and there is a gay character in his film, but I think that experience, because this is about being an outsider, that experience of being an outsider applies to so many different people. It's so relatable. It is not about, I'm not black and I didn't grow up in Harlem and I completely was emotionally engaged and completely torn apart by Push. So should that be just for a black audience? You know what I'm saying? I just think that's completely isolating and alienating. And we make films about emotion and about story, and hopefully they're accessible to all different kinds of people and can change all different kinds of people's thoughts and minds.
Lee, do you have any thoughts on that?
I think that is Push a gay movie, sort of gay themed a little, that a gay black filmmaker directed it, but the Miss Rain character is a lesbian in the film, and we don't find out she's a lesbian for 3/4 of the way through the film, and I did it specifically for the black audience, black men and women that are stifled, that have a problem with homosexuals, and the Prop 8 thing, the fact that we're just so behind the times as a people, and we are in love with her. We are in love with this intoxicating beauty that's just separating, that's saving Precious, the African American audience is. And then they're fucked up by the fact that 3/4 of the way through the movie, oh my God, she's a lesbian, you know? And Precious explains that in her voiceover. So I did that specifically so that for black people to, and Hispanics that really have a thing about this, this, you know, us homosexuals.
I want to talk to you. I mean, we talked about casting Gabby, but you have some huge stars in this, huge, glamorous people who have become sort of the ultimate insiders, and you're asking them to scale way, way down to become these outsiders. Was it hard to convince them or to get them to that place?
Well, they're my, like, you know, they're very good, intimate friends. So what happens is that, you know, you sort of tell them, look, if you want to fuck with me, you want to do this thing, you got to come in a certain way. You know, that means taking a taxi to set. That means, you know, that means shedding your makeup. That means, you know, not getting paid money. That means helping me with craft service. That means, you know, fucking with me. You know, so, and that's what they did. And then we had, you know, it's great when, and they love it. They love it. They loved, you know, Mariah, Monique. They loved working for nothing and being called bitches. Come on, you know, they loved it. They absolutely loved it because, you know, I treated them as if I were treating them like my cousins. And in response, they called me Mr. Daniels during, while we were shooting. And, but then the minute we cut and everything, we go back to calling each other bitches and shit and, you know, having fun, loving. And really, it was an effort of love.
I'd like to open it up to questions, if any of you guys have any. Right over.
I love the fact that you were talking about the identifying of a film just being as gay almost isn't relevant anymore. We've evolved to such a state where that just being a gay identified project almost is passé. Years ago, in 88, 89, I talked with Spike Lee because Wynn Thomas, his production designer, wasn't out to Spike at the time. And that, because of what was happening around AIDS and creating projects for AIDS films, it caused a lot of discussion. And what you guys do creates even more discussion, I think, in the films that you do. So I think in terms of the way we're evolving as a society is really great right now. And the inauguration is like that keystone moment, and you guys just beat into it. I think it's so great.
Hi, this first question's for Gabby and Lee. I've heard great things about Push, so congratulations. I hope to check it out while I'm here. I'm curious, you know, when you were first starting, were you nervous at all having, you know, big name like Mariah Carey? There'd be so much scrutiny on whether she could act or not, and it would sort of take away from the powerful message that comes across from an actor and director's point of view.
And you've produced another film with Mariah, right?
Yes, you want to answer your question first?
Well, I got hired before Mariah. she was like the last person to get hired. Like, we were filming when she joined us.
Tell them who was set.
Helen Mirren.
Oh, wow.
So, I was excited about that. I was like, not that I'm like any less excited about, like, because I love Mariah so much, and she did a wonderful job in this film. And I think the people were like, Mariah, but what about Glitter? What about Glitter? Personally, Glitter is one of my favorite movies. Okay, like popping it on a Saturday night and pop some popcorn and have some fun. But like Glitter, it's named Glitter. It was Glitter, and this is not Glitter. And Mariah is not Glitter. You know, she's so much more, and she did our film a great justice, I believe.